Hello, you guys. What's up? I hope you guys are doing well. This is Lise Perez, your Master Embodiment Coach and author. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Well, a beautiful start to the weekend. You guys are doing awesome. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being a part of it. What I wanted to talk to you guys about. Oh, and by the way, if you like this video and you enjoy the message and you resonate with this message, please like, share, and subscribe. Give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed the message, and let me know your thoughts as well, because I would love to know your thoughts and get everybody's thoughts, right? So we can kind of, build a kind of YouTube community. So that would be incredibly awesome, and I would be so, so grateful. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about is a topic called Let Them Fly. And this is actually a topic for parents, or, more so kind of on the mom side, but you don't have to be a parent to kind of really resonate with this message, right? Because this could be for your future kids, and for future parenthood and things, right? And so I entitled this because we are going through an experience right now where one of our daughters is actually going back to where we're from in Canada, and so she's going to go to school and she's going to do all the things, and she's going to enjoy the time. And when we were having this conversation, because we've been having this conversation for multiple times throughout the past months, and the conversation resulted into you're not ready, you're not able to do this and things. And so when I was talking to my mom before, she and even just family members, right? And I was especially talking to my dad, and he's like, sometimes you gotta let them fly. You gotta let them do their own thing. You can't be really scared. You gotta understand and be okay with being she's 18. My other daughter is 19, and this goes for both of them. And they're like, you gotta have the opportunity and be okay with them if they want to go into another direction, if they want to do their own thing and become more independent, because you just got to let them fly. You have to be okay with and have the thought that you taught them everything essentially that you needed to know, that they needed to know, in order for them to build their own independence and build their character and live on their own and make their own decisions. Right? He's like, you can't keep holding them onto a leash, right? Like right beside us, or the most prime example that I can relate to is, as a kid, like if you have a toddler, you guys will know what I'm talking about, where you're a parent and you have this kind of cord on the wrist, this little bracelet thing, and then the cord goes, or the rope goes all the way as far as it can go. Right? But you're attached by the wrist, they're attached by the wrist, and they can go only so far, but then they have to come back, right? And so it's like that. We all want to hold them kind of by the wrist and be like, okay, you guys can go, but you have to be, an eye's length or ear's length, or we have to be able to see you all the time. And and you can make your own decisions, but you gotta check in all the time, and you gotta do this and you gotta do that. As parents, it's not being strict at all. It's being, super, even say overprotective of our own kids. But my dad said it very great, because he's like, you guys, like, very, very hard to let our kids fly. It's very hard. It's they're making the decision to become independent rather than have a codependent relationship with us, right? Rather than having to run back to their parents because of whatever reason, and they've chosen to become independent. They've made the decision to become independent. He's like, as a parent, we also have to make the decision of letting them be independent as well. And he's like, it's the hardest decision as a parent, because it really is. It's the hardest decision as a parent to let them fly. But in order for them to build their character, in order for them to, to make their own decisions, maybe sometimes even good decisions, or sometimes maybe even not so great decisions, right? I don't see a decision as good or bad. It's a great decision and a not so great one. That's kind of how I started to see it. And so he's like, it's very hard for you, as parents, to let them do their own thing, but it also builds their character like crazy, because then they're going to build resilience, and they're going to build perseverance and dedication as well, right? And they're gonna find out, they're gonna also learn a ton of life lessons, right? Because when they're doing something and they didn't make such a great decision, they're going to understand why it wasn't such a great decision. But we won't be there for them to hold their hand, right? Because we gotta let them fly. My parents let me go on my own when I was 18 years old. Well, actually, around 17 years old, right? Because they were moving to Florida at the time, and I didn't want to go, and because I want to stay with my friends and stuff. And so they said, okay, then go find yourself a place to live. And I had a job at the time, and they're like, and you have a job, you have a full-time job, you have a great job, so you can pay for yourself, you can be independent. And I was like, sweet ass, like that is awesome. Like I was super, super excited. I didn't feel scared at all, because I was like, oh, I have friends, and I have family members here and all that stuff. That's awesome. Like my parents are just, they're going to be in Florida. It's a plane ride away, whatever, and they're going to come back. But I'm going to live an independent life, and I'm going to be like, this is the life. This is what I want to do. This is exciting, because I have no one to really tell me otherwise, no one to really tell me what not to do. I'm just gonna do my own thing, and I'm gonna make my own decisions, and I don't have a parent to tell me yes or no, and it's gonna be pretty friggin' exciting, right? And so they went. I had my job, and as a 9 to 5, it was going well, and I was living at my friend's house. It wasn't rent-free, but it was one of my best friend's house, and her parents let me live there with them. And it wasn't rent-free, but I was paying ridiculously cheaper. I think I was paying $500 a month, I think, and including all utilities, which is pretty awesome. Well, and I was super, super excited, and I was like, man, I am living the life, because I have money saved in the bank account. I'm getting myself there. If I wanted to go to the bars, then I can. I don't have anyone breathing down my neck. I'm with my friend. It's going to be sweet. It's my best friend, and it's going to be so, so awesome. Little did I know that my best friend was like, kind of like a little bit of a homebody. So and I was kind of into the party mode. Because I was, almost, actually, I had turned 18 afterwards. And she goes, well, I don't want to go to the bars this time. I don't want to go. Like, I just want to stay home, right? She was a huge introvert. And so I went with our friends, and I was going every single weekend, pretty much. Friday, started from Thursday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I was literally living the life. And my mom's like, how are you going? How's it going? I'm like, oh, good. I'm going to the bars. I'm doing this. And she's like, you still going to work? I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm going to work. Like, it's gonna be awesome. It's fabulous. And I found a job. I found a house, and she was super, super proud. So, long story short, of course, at the bar, I met a guy, and I met a dude, and ended up giving my money away, right? Because he was one of those one of those guys that is like, they didn't want to work or anything and just wanted to spend the girlfriend's money. And so that's what happened. So what happens? I lose all my money, and then my mom's or my friend's parents told her that she needed to kick me out because I couldn't pay the rent anymore, and also I was going out too much, and so they told her that I was a bad influence. And so all of these things started toppling, right? And I learned life lessons a lot about saving money. I learned a lot about things, and I remember my parents came for to do some business or to do some errands when they came back for a short time, and they were like, "How's it going?" I'm like, "Oh, good, good, good. You know, it's okay." And little did they know at the time I was actually homeless, so I didn't have a job, and I was practically homeless. So every single day I would be on the phone trying to find a place to live. Sometimes it would be at a uncle's house, sometimes it would be at my other friend's house, but I didn't have a set address. And so they didn't know that. I just wanted them to know that I was okay. And they're like, "Are you sure you're okay? Do you want to come back?" And I was like, "Yes, please, please let me come back." Because that's the thing, no matter how old your kids are, you got to let them fly, and you have to, and they can fly, and you know, they can be independent, and they can make all the decisions, right? They can make their own decisions, and I tell my kids, I'm like, make good choices. And so they can make their own decisions, and they, you know, make the decisions, and if it's not such a great decision, then they'll learn from it, right? It'll help them build their character, it'll help them build their persona, it'll help them build their, as I said, their strength, resilience, perseverance, you name it. It'll help them build their story, right? It'll help them build another chapter in their book, in their life's journey, and that's not a bad thing. But you also, like, it doesn't matter how old they are. They could be 20, they could be 25, 30, but as long as you give them an option to come back home, just like my parents did, then even if they've flown and started living their life and building their independence and their strength and their endurance, at least they know that they're not alone, right? Because they still have their parents there. You didn't leave them high and dry. You just give them an option to become independent, and then if they're not ready or whatever the case may be, then they have an option to come back. That's the beauty of parenthood, not to let your kids go and be like, okay, you settle your own disasters and you go do your thing. There's a difference between letting them go completely and wholeheartedly, and not holding them on a leash, but having them an option that, you know what, you're not alone. So you can still come over, you can still hang, you know, you can still come back and live if you want to, right? If living on your own or making your own decisions, just you weren't cut out for it, or you weren't ready, or whatever the case may be, you just give them an option to come back, right? That way they know that they're not alone. And you know, and the same with my oldest daughter. She's also making her own decision to get a job and not go to school right now, and she's staying with us, which is fine, right? But then there's going to come a point where she gets a job, she gets a great job, and maybe, I don't know, moves in with her boyfriend or does something, and or it goes back to Canada as well, and just like my youngest. So there's so many different routes that people can take, their kids can take. I mean, come on, you guys, if you're not a parent yet, that's cool, you'll understand it. But just, you know, remember when your parents left you with your independency, and maybe you had an opportunity to come back, right? Most parents will give the opportunity to the kids to come back, right? Be like, yo, you're not alone here, so you can still do your thing, you can still do whatever, and still make your own decisions. But if things are not cut out for you, then come back, right? That's a great decision, rather than leaving your kids high and dry. And if you do have kids, remind them of that. You know, listen to them, and just. My dad said it perfectly best. My mom said it too, basically the same kind of words, is let them fly. And it's interesting because shortly after we made this decision to really let them fly, we were just sitting on a rooftop terrace, and there was a mama bird. It was kind of cool. There's a mama bird that was leaving, that, you know, flew away. And we looked over the yonder, and there were her baby birds, and they were following her. But she didn't turn around, and see, that's the thing. She didn't turn around and be like, "Yo, are you okay? Like, you good?" Like, she let them be independent, right? And if they needed help, she'd swoop down. But she let them be independent. She actually let them fly, because how can you let your kids fly, or how can they be independent and make their own decisions and figure things out for themselves and build a character, if we just hold them like this in a chokehold and just not let them go anywhere because we want to continue to stay overprotective? right? Like the mama bird doesn't do that. The mama bird lets their babies fly, lets their babies be independent. And she's there. She's always there with them. She's always there. She's always going to be around. They know that they're never alone, right? But she lets them fly. And if they fall, I've seen the bird, they just swoop down and they come and like as if they're talking to them. They come and they're like, "Are you okay?" You know, and then the bird gets up and just flies away. And so, but the mama bird is always around, right? And so that's the beauty of parenthood, is to show your kids that they're not alone no matter what. They could be, as I said, 18, 20, 25, 30, whatever. Show them that they're not alone, right? And then they can actually fly, and then they can actually, you know, find their own way. And if they didn't, well, they have parents that love them and care for them and that are always going to be there for them. I'm pushing 40, honestly, and my mom is always there for me too. Like, she is there for me too, all the time. Every time I talk to her, she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm 40 and I have kids or teenagers and I'm married, but she's always there, and she always has been, like, more like the same amount as when I was 5, 10 years old up until now. She's still there. She calls me all the time. We live in Mexico, she's in Canada, and she calls me all the time. She messages me. She's like, "You okay?" Even my grandmother, you know, wants to talk to me, right? My dad's more so that I'm literally gonna let them fly, and if she wants to ask questions or she wants some help or advice, then she can talk to me. But my mom is a mom and always just there, and she's always around. So it doesn't matter how old your kids are, always show them that they're there, that you're around, so that they're never alone. So I hope you guys like this video, and I hope you'll resonate with it. And if you're not a parent, I hope this has given you a message for when you do become a parent. And if you're a parent, and let me know in the comments below what you think of this message, and if it's inspired you, or tell me about your relationship with your kids. I would love it, like, so much. So, of course, if you guys like this video and it resonates with you, and you like the message, and you have friends that would enjoy this message, please like, share, and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, and we will talk to you guys soon. So God bless you. Stay empowered. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend, and we'll talk.